Welcome back, my friends, to the Green Hand. In the grassy fields here for this next episode of our Satisfactory 1.0 Let's Play, you'll notice that we are ticking away on our smart plating for Phase 2. And that's because I never disconnected it when we finished Phase 1. That's our smart plating assembler right over there. It is chugging away and throwing not too many smart plating per minute, maybe a couple, up into our space elevator. So we're just going to let that tick away, although we will be optimizing that later on. But in our last episode, we unlocked Phase 2 of the game by completing that first space elevator milestone, which unlocked Tiers 3 and Tiers 4. So what we have here is coal power. Now, what I did before I started this episode is I actually unlocked our awesome sink, as well as I'm about to unlock our jump pads. Now, I'll be honest with you, I don't use the jump pads very much, but the awesome sink, which I have loaded up in my inventory on the right-hand side of the screen, or you can find it in the special section of the build menu, is probably one of the items in the game that gives you the most flexibility on how you build and specifically how your factors really look as you progress through the game. So this is what it looks like right here. It looks like I gotta grab just a touch more concrete because I just wasted it all building more platforms. But what it allows you to do is get rid of items that you don't want, or even craft items for the purpose of getting rid of them so that you can earn awesome points. And those points will give you tickets, and those tickets will start to unlock some really cool items. So I'll just build a really simple recycling system over here. This is probably the simplest awesome sink setup that you can build in the entire game. And all it really is a awesome sink right over here, which does require power. So we'll power it up, and then we'll throw a storage facility right in front of it. Of course, we are missing some plates, so let's top up on those guys. And now, anything that we want to trash or get rid of, we can by just tossing it right in here. So I've got this limestone I don't really want. Let's toss that in. We'll watch it pop in and take a look. We'll start to see some points be decremented right here. Now, you remember from really early on, we got some of this hog meat from the hogs that we killed, this stuff right here. And what we can do is turn that into hog protein, and we can actually turn that into something very special once we unlock it in the map. So if we go over to Alien Megafauna, what we need to do is grab a little bit more of this protein, and we'll start to unlock these DNA capsules. Because what you'll notice is if you go over here, you can either do standard points or DNA points. DNA points is a more efficient way, especially in the early part of the game, to gain these points for the awesome shop, which I'll build right next to this here. And you'll start to see some of the stuff that you can unlock. There's some really fun stuff in here. You can unlock a boombox with all these different tapes to play, but really where it gets exciting for me is some of this utilitarian stuff. So conveyor lifts for floor holes, conveyor ceiling mounts, you've got wall power outlets, you've got these different signs and lighting options, there's different ways to customize your factory, different foundation textures you can have, as well as probably the most utilitarian stuff, which would be different types of foundations themselves, as well as unlocking walls completely, and a whole host of different architectural elements. The latter being one of the first ones that I want in this game, because this allows us to scale some cliffs by building foundations and ladders. But to do that, we need to figure out how to get some points. But that's not really the subject of today's episode. Today's episode is all about getting coal power. And fortunately, we don't need a whole lot of things to do that. We just need some cable, which we have a lot of, and then we need 50 rotors and 150 reinforced iron plates. Now, if I want to make this process just a touch easier, what I can do is turn off my smart plating for a little bit. Actually, I have quite a few of the reinforced iron plates already. I really only need to get these rotors to build up. So I'm going to delete the conveyor belt for the rotors and just let the rotors stack in here for a little bit while I go grab my cables. Okay, we've got the last of our rotors. So we have officially unlocked our coal power. And what we'll do now is go ahead and connect this back to our smart plating assembler, just so we start ticking away on that next phase passively. It's not super optimized, but it's something, right? And something is better than nothing, especially in this game. So let's load up our next goodies here, and we'll unlock coal power, which is a big step up in this game. So what we've been able to scan for now is coal. And it looks like we're very lucky that coal is not too far away from us, at least one node. So let's hope it's a pure node, or at least not an impure node. And it looks like it's right around the corner over here. This is where we get to manipulate the environment for the very first time. We're going to create some manufactured bridges around here, just so we can get here really easily. I think our coal node is right around that corner over there. Yeah, let's take a look. Yeah, it's right in front of us. So let's use our world grid, zoop over, quick bridge. Okay, are we lucky? Oh my goodness, we are lucky. We have a pure coal node. Let's get a foundation down so we can get a nice clean surface here. And we will build a miner on top of this bad boy. But not before we build a portable miner. Always good to have a good stockpile of these, but they're not too hard to whip out the equipment workshop and build. So this is the first pure node we've seen, and you can tell we've got 120 coal per minute, which is a fantastic, fantastic amount. The question now is, how do you actually turn this into power based on that coal? So what we need to do is pop into our power setup in the build menu. We've got something new here. We have a coal power generator. Now what I recommend is setting your to-do list to build 8 of these. And we also have to go to a new production method that we've gotten just by unlocking coal power, which would be these water extractors. And I recommend setting up for 4 of these. And then just to be safe, we've got to pump that water out somehow, right? So I'd make, I don't know, 10 junctions. Let's get a couple pumps just in case. We'll do about 20 of those. So this gives us a good baseline of stuff that we need to develop into the next phase of our coal power plant. So what we need to do first is bring this coal to a place where there's water. So let's pop onto our map and see, are we near any water whatsoever? Unfortunately, not really. The closest water we have is over here, which is all the way on the other side of our base, but we're gonna have to make do. So you notice that we need a new item that we unlocked a while ago, but we've never actually produced, which would be copper sheets. So I'm gonna fire up another copper mine here. Unfortunately, again, an impure node, but that's fine. And we're going to start building copper sheets out, which is absolutely necessary for coal power because we need to build pipes, and those require copper sheets. Copper sheets are really simple because they take copper ingots, just like all the other basic copper materials. And that's pretty much it. All you need to do is build a couple constructors because they don't take it at the exact ratio that one smelter would produce it. So it's 30 ingots out, 20 ingots in, which means we have a surplus of 10. So we're going to overbuild slightly here for now. Just build 2 copper sheet constructors. Copy one in there, copy those settings. So we're going to generate 15 copper sheet per minute, and we need to go check on our rotor production anyways, so we'll let that tick away. And the reason I really like using this to-do list here is because I know I need 8 coal power generators. I know I need 4 water extractors, and you'll see that math in just a second. And then I know I need a handful of some of this other material to build out a full coal power plant. Because when you're putting a project together pretty far away, so our coal power is over there, that's where our coal mine is at least, and then we're gonna need to build our coal power plant over by this water over here. So I've got the mine here, my base here, and the water over here. I don't want to have to run back and forth because I forgot like 6 iron or something like that. So I'm just going to use the to-do list to make sure that I've got every single thing I need before I venture off. So let's head on over to the water source, which is right in front of us here, and see how we might set up the infrastructure for our coal power plant. And we're starting to venture a little bit farther away from where we literally crash landed on the planet. So we're making moves here on the planet, expanding out, taking over a little bit more, and there we have it, my friends. We've got this beautiful little pond here that we are about to completely exploit for all the resources that we can. So we'll see if we can fit everything we need in here. Hopefully we can. Now what we need to do is take a look at our coal power generator, see how many resources that it's going to take. So first off, it's going to take 2 inputs. We can tell that because the back of it here is going to take a water pipe as well as a material input, that'd be the coal. So it's going to take 15 coal per minute, and it's also going to take 45 water per minute. Now we know we're getting 120 coal a minute divided by 15. So that gives us the ability to produce 8 coal generators off of that 1 pure node, which is why I set my to-do list to 8 generators. That is exactly why I did that. It's a perfect number that you need just to start the game out. Now we also need to figure out, okay, well, how much water do we need? one water extractor, how much will that produce? One water extractor is going to produce 120 meters cubed per minute. So we know that one coal power generator is going to take 45. So we start to get into some weird math here. And this is where I like personally to keep the game a little bit simpler for you. Instead of perfectly balancing out your systems this early in the game, you'll notice that 120 divided by 45 is 2.6667. So what that means is 2 2/3. I can use just a little bit more than 2 generators off of one water extractor, which means that one water extractor will definitely fit 2 generators. So if I need 8 total generators, I need 4 extractors. And yes, I will be overproducing just slightly. So let's set that up first. Now the way to do this and align it really nicely, of course, use your world grid here. But we're going to choose a section where we can place all of our water extractors. So I'm just going to make sure that this row right here, I have no problem placing water extractors. Sometimes if it's too shallow, for example, right there, it says resources not deep enough. So I'm going to throw down some simple foundations, just like probably right about there. And what we're going to do is throw down a lookout tower. What that does is it allows the water extractor to snap to it, so you can build in a very pleasing fashion. So see, I can just do that. Hold control and I'm snapping to it right there. So let's pop on top of this and we'll throw some down. So now that that is nice and snapped, I don't need that anymore and I can get a nice straight line of water extractors here. We're gonna start with 2 water extractors even though we need 4. And the reason why is because just like a belt that has either 60 or in the Mark II's 120 resource per minute cap, our pipelines have a 300 meters cubed of fluid cap. And so you'll notice if I've got 120 times 3 is 360. So I'd already be over the cap. So one pipe can hold up to 300. So I'm going to put 240 into a single pipe here. So what we'll do is we will bring a pipe out, we'll throw it out this way, and we will drag it just over this way. And you can tell your pipe is centered by pressing H and giving it a look-see, and it looks like we're good here.
Fix-it pipeline. Note.
Then you need to attach the water extractor to the pipe itself, and you do that with pipeline junctions. Now, this is where something is going to help you out. So if you notice in the bottom bar, I've been using pretty much the same hotbar this entire time. I got my power, I got my conveyor poles, I've got my foundations and my splitters, all that kind of stuff. Now, if I hold Alt and scroll up or down, I have actually 10 different hotbars. So on my second hotbar, I'm going to start loading some of the water stuff. So I'm going to put the Mark I pipelines, the junctions, the pumps, and the supports. And now, if I ever need to build really quickly all of my plumbing supplies, then I can just do that. So what you can do here is you can actually snap the pipeline junctions to the output of the water extractor. Now, this does not look that good to me. See how that's going to drop down in an uncomfortable fashion? I'm actually going to redo this pipe here. So we'll bring it out to here. That gives us a little bit more leeway. Throw our pipeline junctions down. And if we want to keep this nice and clean, we can actually tidy up the exit here and just prune that off. And there we go. So now we have 2 extractors pushing 240 cubic meters of water through, which can easily power 4 coal-powered generators. So let's build the infrastructure for the coal-powered generators, but we want to make sure, since we need 8 of them, that we can still fit 2 more water extractors somewhere in this lagoon. So let me make sure I can do that really quickly by putting down another lookout tower. We're going to snap to it. So I can get one. Looks like I can get one probably here. Yeah, oh yeah, I got no problem with this. I can get one over there. Okay, cool. So I rejiggered my water setup just a touch, just to squeeze this in a little bit more of a pleasing way. And I'm going to reconnect and show you how we set up the actual coal generator section, which is a little bit finicky because you got to make sure you're getting water inputs and a coal input into 8 different generators. Okay, so now we are going to build the platforms for our coal generators. We're going to run 8 of them in a row. We're going to run it like a manifold system where you have coal coming in from one side and kind of slowly overflowing its way down. But we're going to run the water a little separately because remember, we have 2 generators or 2 extractors going to 4 generators and then another 2 extractors going to another 4 generators. So we're going to have to plumb that one up just a touch differently. What I want to do is bring a ramp up here to clear this little gap, and then we're going to build all of our coal generators right over there. So we're going to drag a ramp foundation up just like that, and then we'll throw down a bunch of foundations here. We're probably going to need more than this, but you need at least 3. Now, here's something I'm going to do that is just a touch different than you might see on some other builds, where I'm going to throw a foundation on top. I'm going to press E, bring this down to the 1 meter, and throw a floating foundation right here, because we're going to do what's called a logistics floor design here, where all of the logistics, the coal, the water, is going to be coming in from below. So you need 3 foundations in length to put down a generator and have it fit and look normal. So let's lay down our first generator here. We're going to have the inputs coming in on the side behind us here, and that looks pretty dang good to me. So there we go. And we just need to place 8 of these in a row now, and we'll be in a good spot. 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, I ran out of rotors again. The rotors are haunting me. So I have 4 already. We'll extend out that foundation just a touch. At long last, we have the rotors that we need. And don't worry, in a future episode, I will show you exactly how to optimize your reinforced iron plates and your rotors so you're producing quite a few per minute and you never run into that problem again. So here we come back to our floating coal factory, which does look a little bit odd, but we will, again, fix that as well. So let's make a ramp so we can actually get up to this bad boy. We'll zoop that out. And we have 4 more coal generators that we need to build. 2, 3. Okay, there are our 8. So let's work on our plumbing and all the different things that are required to get this plugged in. So the first thing we need to do is bring down some logistics, and we're going to bring down our conveyor lifts to the bottom floor here, where we can feed them in to each coal power generator. So eventually that coal that we extracted from way over yonder, we're going to bring that over here. So we have all these lifts, right? And we need to create, again, an overflow manifold system. So what we'll do is we'll actually start from over here, because I think this is closer to the entry point of where our coal line will come in. And we're going to throw the the split direction down to the left. So we're going to come in this way, and we're going to split out this way. And then on this one, we're going to come in from the right side, of course, because it's coming in here now. And we're going to send it all the way down. So we'll connect all of these. So now once we connect up this splitter with the coal line that's going to be coming in from over there, it's going to take the 120 coal, which we'll need a Mark II belt for, split it, and we can use Mark I belts all the way down, because after we've split it, we're at 60, and that's the max capacity of this belt. It's going to send 60 up here, 60 down here, 30, and 30, and then so on and so forth. So eventually, this will fill all the way up. Now, what I'm going to do, though, because manifold systems can take a while to get to that 8th generator over there, is I'm going to plug this in right away to my coal line so it can start filling up. So we need to go quite a ways over this way. Okay, so we know this line connects directly to our coal plant over there. Now, yeah, it's breaking the rules of physics and it's floating in the air, but there'll be some really cool things that we can build in the future that cleans that look up just a touch. So what we want to do is bring our mine from over here to that line right there. So we're gonna have to do a little bit of maneuvering here. So let's throw a power line down, and we'll want to extend this power out before we drag the lines, just so we know that once this turns on, it's gonna start sending that coal all the way to where we want it, which is our generator facility. Now I'm gonna need a Mark II belt here. So I need quite a few reinforced iron plates. So I may have to go back to my base and stock up, but for now I'm gonna hold E, switch to Mark II, and we'll go default here, and you can rotate your scroll wheel to make sure that you're aligning this correctly. So I'm going to align this right in the center of the platform, which would be right there. So that's a little funky as we start, but now it's going to be totally normal. So let's come out this way. And yeah, I'm really missing reinforced iron plates, so let me go pick some of those up. Okay, we've got a few more reinforced plates at least, hopefully enough to get this job done. But what I need to do is throw a power line up here. We'll connect this down to our guy right there. Yes, that clips through the floor, but again, this is the beginning phases of the game. It actually does not matter that much, believe me, guys. So what we'll do is we'll start dragging out our conveyors here, and we still may run out of Mark II belts, but we'll go and top up if that's the case. Drag it out as far as we can. We're in straight mode here, right down the center line. It makes for really nice looking belts. Okay, so what we want to do here is, since we don't have ladders yet, we need to build a ramp down so we can create the scaffolding here. We're going to put a conveyor pole up top. I find this saves you a little bit of time because sometimes it's quite annoying when you miss how high up your lift should go. So bring it one off the edge, just like that, and then grab your lift, Mark II, drag it down. Make sure that you're going the right direction. Remember, we don't want it coming out at the bottom, we want it going in at the bottom. So we're going to press R to reverse that, and now we have a nice clean line where we can drag from our Mark II belt right over to here. Now we are slightly off on that orientation, so that's going to come out just a touch, which does annoy me. So I'm actually going to fix that. I'm going to bring this out from here so it's straight, just about there. So then we'll connect that over here. So it won't be perfectly down the center, but hey, it's going to be good enough. So now we've got our coal coming from over there, where it's way out of the way, and we've got it moved up to our horizontal sort of conveyor bridge that's floating on absolutely air right now. We don't have this powered up quite yet, so let's figure that out. What we want to do is probably just throw a line here and bring it down to one of these just so we get it powered up. We don't have to worry about it too much. And we're going to start dragging this line all the way over this way. And as I suspected, we are going to run out of Mark II belts, but we'll go as far as we can. So I finished it off with some Mark I while my reinforced iron plates are building, but we'll go swap this out in a second. But now we do have a connection point. So what's going to happen is our coal is going to start slowly making its way all the way from over there into here, and it's going to start filling all of these generators up, which is absolutely fantastic, but that's only half of the picture. We need to get the water in, and that's where things get a little bit more complicated. So what I'm going to do is clip over my conveyor lifts, because pretty soon we are going to unlock something that makes that not such a cardinal sin, although right now I will admit it actually doesn't look that bad, to be honest with you. So let's just roll with it, and we're going to go all the way out to the end here, and what we're going to do is set up the input system for our piping. So remember, 2 of these extractors will power 4, will actually overpower 4 of these generators. So I'm going to set up 2 separate networks here. What we're going to do is bring it out from the middle of the foundation out this way, 1, 2, 3, 4 of the generators long. So we'll go to there. And then early on in the game, when you don't have a lot of jumping ability, I like to just hop on top of the pipes and then control snap my junctions on, and then we'll just connect this up. Okay, so 4 of our generators are connected to a water input. We just don't have any pumps going to those, but we will fix that in short order. So let's just build this next one. I'll clean up these endpoints here just so we have a nice delineation between these 4 generators and these 4 generators. So now we need to get the water over to these right here. So what I'm going to do is drag a pipe down, and we're going to use a different build mode here. So we're going to go to horizontal to vertical. What that will do is it will throw a perfect horizontal and vertical pipe segment down. I'm going to go just till I see the blue there. That's perfect. So now I can connect this guy to this guy right here. And yeah, it actually is going to be a touch off, but that is totally fine with me this early in the game. So I'll go like that. And if you really wanted to get fancy about it, you could actually just bring this one out so that it matches. So let's do that. So the way to do a perfect 90 degrees with a pipe is, let's say it's coming out to here, you're going to turn it 2, and then you're going to bring it forward 2 like that. Press H to freeze. You can see how that is perfectly in line, and I'm also in line with my other pipe over here. So we can connect, and if we were to hop on top, we notice that we're straight out here and we're straight in here, so life is good. Now the thing that you need to know about water extractors and water in general is that water has a flow rate and it has a pumping rate, and it also has something called head lift. So it can't just like magically go upwards because that defies gravity. So just to be safe, we're going to place a water pump on all of our systems here. So we're going to face the pump in the direction that we want to go. Obviously, we don't want to pump backwards. We want to pump forwards. And you'll notice there's a little blue ring. That blue ring is going to tell you how far up it's going to pump. So it's definitely making it past our system here. We'll get rid of that. We don't need that. And we're going to do the same thing over here. So it doesn't really matter where you connect it to as long as you do connect it. So if I go here and I go into horizontal to vertical mode, come down, I can actually put a junction right about there. Let's see. Let's go up here and do it. I can throw a junction right there, trim off this end part, and we'll go horizontal to vertical right there. And we will place a pump right there. And see how it's going to show it coming all the way up there, which is exactly what we want. So now we have all of our water set up. We need to power it. Let's take a look at where our coal's at. Has it made its way over yet? Yes, it looks like it has. Very slowly, because we don't have Mark II belts on half of this yet, but we're still making our way. And you'll notice, look at how it's working. It's throwing some up this way, it's throwing some up here, throwing some up here, so we're in a good spot. So now what we need to do is slowly start up all of these coal power plants, but first we have to get power over to our coal power plants. We don't have any power over there yet, so let's drag from our existing system a line. And this line can be a bit sloppy because we're really going to fix it all later on. I know I keep saying that, but it is the truth. So let's just grab off of a line. Oh man, we really need those next level pulls. We'll get those soon. So let's pull off this guy here. We'll just throw a really sloppy line out just to get some power over there. Okay, now we can be a little bit more precise. So we're going to want to power up all of our power plants here. So let's just start with one, and we'll throw another line over this way because of course we need to power our water extractors. Again, let's fire up one, and we also need to power up our pump. So let's do that. Because 120, and we're only using 45 for the one we've powered up right here, this should be more than enough. Now the only thing that we are waiting on is the water to make it up there, and hopefully there's enough coal in the system. So let's take a look. Looks like we do have literally one coal, which is not a ton, but the water is slowly making its way. And you can see how water works in this game by looking at these expandable pipes. So right here, you can see that this pipe is starting to fill up. As this water is extracting 120 meters cubed a minute, it's going to make its way down anything that is open, right? Anything it's connected to. So it's going to make its way all the way down to here, and actually all the way down to here. So it has to fill all this up before it's really going to start making its way over here, although the pipe is helping us, the pump is helping us, excuse me. So now you can see we barely had that triggered. We barely had that going, because our coal is coming in from over here. So it's going to take a while for it to fill this one up. But what we can do is head on over to the other side where it's way full of coal and get that system set up. So I'm going to drag some power out. I'm actually just going to drag power out every 2 blocks because we're going to need that. We'll throw that one on power, and we'll also throw some more power this way so we can bring these guys online. And this one should be a lot more full. And once water gets up to it, we're going to start our power generation. So what you like to do is start with a few. You don't want to trip it, and you don't want it to kind of go spotty, because if you start building on spotty power generation, you'll get a production that can dip below your consumption, and then you'll trip it, and you might have to restart this whole system, which is a total nightmare. So you don't want to do that. So let's just watch, and we will see. As water makes its way up here, this expands. We're going to see this start to kick on, and it's going to have quite a bit of energy because there's 100 coal in here. So you can start to see there's a tiny little bit of water coming in right there. And there we have it, my friends. Oh, it just starts and stops. It just needs to get a critical mass of water, and it's going to be good. But take a look at that kick. We've got another 75 megawatts of power. So this entire system, when running at full, is going to be 8 times 75, another 600 megawatts of power, which will put us at a total of about 1,050 megawatts of production. Now, it won't be exactly how much we're making, because remember, the biomass burners do not actually produce unless they are needed, but we're in a good spot here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to power up the rest of our generators here, and I am also going to power up the rest of our water extractors. And I just finished up all of the Mark II belts. So now all the way from over at our coal mine over there, all the way through to the very first splitter, we have 120 throughput on our generators. So what we'll start to see is all of these will tick on once they have enough coal and enough water. So we'll do a quick double check just to make sure that we're good. And I'll run through that math for you one more time. Setting up coal is a little bit confusing for people who start out. And it was confusing for me at the very beginning, but when you keep it simple and you don't try to perfectly optimize it, we've got 2 extractors producing 240 water per minute total coming up, being pumped through into 4 coal generators that use 45 a minute. So 4 times 45 is 180, and we're producing 240. So 240 minus 180, we have a surplus of 60. So we're not perfectly efficient, but it doesn't really matter. So now, if I take a look at my 4th generator, this is absolutely full of water, so I'm in a good spot there. And we're also full of water all the way down to our very last generator, right here. Now, what's going on with the coal? Am I getting enough coal to this system? Not quite yet, because it's a manifold system. And this is probably the most annoying part of building manifold systems, but I personally find that eventually they do work just as well as load balancing systems, and you don't have to do all this complex mathematics to make it work. So if we take a look, we've got 100 coal in there, we've got 100 coal in here, we're building up to our 100 right here, and this one does not have any fuel. So really what's happening is we're just sucking up all the coal as the manifold starts to fill up. So I'll reconnect my smart plating constructor system over here just for a little bit, because why not? Why not tick away at that 1,000 while we're working on some other things? But pretty soon we are going to revamp most of what we've built in light of some of these new tools and some of the new upgrades and the new milestones. Let's take a quick look at our coal generator plant that we have built. It's a very simple setup, guys. We overbuilt it just slightly, but it's no big deal. So we have 4 of them on right now. As the manifold fills up, we'll have all of them generating 8 times 75, 600 megawatts of power, in addition to our biomass burner system we built over here that is powering all of the stuff that you see over here. And this is really what we're going to be tackling in the next episode, is how do we scale this into a little bit more of a high output system that doesn't look quite as messy. But to do that, we're going to have to unlock some new tiers in our hub over there, and perhaps even expand our power generation. So as we wrap up this episode, remember to subscribe. I am actually a YouTuber in a different category altogether. I'm not really a gaming YouTuber. This is my gaming channel. If you figure out who I am, the first person on this channel to comment it, I will buy a Satisfactory video game. So I'll buy it on Steam or Epic or whatever you like to consume your games on. And just a fun little way to kickstart this channel. I'm having a lot of fun with it. So I'll see you guys next time. Peace out.